This lecture is called Before the Beginning of Hamlet. La da 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 dum dum da. La da 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 dum dum da. If there's anything that you want, if there's anything I can do, just call on me and I'll send it along with love from me to you. Okay, before the beginning. Number one, you already know Hamlet. There's so many famous lines from Hamlet to be or not to be. That is the question. Brevity is the soul of wit. There's a method to my madness. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. I must be cruel only to be kind. Neither a borrower nor a lender be. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest. Sweets to the sweet. This, above all, to thine own self be true. It's almost hard to read Hamlet for the first time because you're going to go through this play and you're going to realize, wait a minute, I've kind of heard this before already. You may have even quoted Hamlet already and not realized it. If you've ever told anybody, hey, there's a method to my madness, you're kind of quoting Hamlet already. Here's some other things to know about before the beginning of Hamlet. King Claudius says that one of the common themes of life, and it's also going to be a theme of the play, is the death of fathers. Hamlet, our star, the protagonist of the play, is actually Hamlet Jr., and he is mourning the death of his father, old Hamlet Sr. Well, Shakespeare himself was also mourning the death of his father as he wrote this play. We're not 100% sure when Shakespeare wrote this play. He probably started around 1600. It seems like the first performances that we have a record of are around 1601. And Shakespeare's father, John Shakespeare, died in 1601. So Shakespeare was either dealing with the loss of his own father when he wrote this play, or he was thinking about the impending loss of his elderly, aging father as he was working on this play. But the other loss that Shakespeare was working through as he wrote this play was the death of his own son. His son's name was Hamnet, which is essentially the same name as Hamlet. It's just like sort of a British version of that same name. Shakespeare had a son named Hamnet, and at age 11 in 1596, young Hamnet died as a result of the plague. So Shakespeare is dealing with the loss of his son Hamnet and the loss of his father, John Shakespeare, as he's writing this play, Hamlet, which is all about how do we deal with death? How do we deal with the loss of our loved ones? I also want to tell you about a whole bunch of stuff in the world of the play, the world of Hamlet, that has happened before the beginning of Hamlet. This is all stuff that has happened before Act 1, Scene 1. Okay, so here's a quick list. Number 1, old King Hamlet was murdered by his brother Claudius. That's already happened before the beginning of the play. It's a secret. Nobody knows who done it, but that's already happened. They've already had a funeral for old King Hamlet. The other thing that's already happened is his brother, his murderer, Claudius, has married his widow, Queen Gertrude. And as a result of this marriage, Claudius has now been proclaimed to be the new king of Denmark. They have already had a coronation ceremony where Claudius was crowned king of Denmark. Another thing that's already happened before the beginning of Act 1, Scene 1, Denmark has already gotten word from their scouts that there's an army massing up in Norway that is getting ready to attack the country of Denmark any day now. The last thing that has already happened before the beginning of Act 1, Scene 1, the ghost of dead King Hamlet has already been seen stalking the castle. Several guards have been out at midnight and they've already seen the ghost of the dead king haunting the castle. And of course the guards are all freaked out about this. They're thinking this must be a bad omen. What could this mean for our country of Denmark, that our dead king is haunting the royal castle? And this is all already happened. When we get to Act 1, Scene 1, the opening line, who's there?